Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to dive deep into a product that I believe solves a huge problem in the men's grooming space. But to understand why this little trimmer is so important, we need to start with a story. For the last 4 years, this has been my trusted companion, a Philips BT series trimmer. Actually, I bought it for around 1900 rupees, and to be fair, it was an absolute workhorse. It never let me down, and it was reliable, and it lasted all the solid 4 years, which is more than you can ask from for the electronics these days. But a few weeks ago, it finally gave up the ghost. I did what anyone would do. I went online to buy a new one, and that's when I hit a wall. The problem was Philips is still selling essentially the same models with the same technology for the same price. There was no real innovation or no significant upgrade, and that actually got me thinking, what did I actually want from my next trimmer? Well, my old Philips was great, but it had one major limitation. The limitation that I have come to call, it is called as a 1mm problem. Well, if you have ever used a standard beard trimmer, you exactly know what I am talking about. When you use it without any combs, you don't get a clean shave, you get stubble. Well, for most Philips trimmers in this price range, like the BT 3000 series, the minimum trim length that you can achieve is somewhere between 0.5 mm to 1 mm. The documentation from the Philips Q&A sections also confirm this, that stating a minimum of cutting length of 1 mm or some models have 0.5 mm. But for others, never getting close to a true clean shaven look. And for me, that was no longer enough. I wanted something which will give me a clean, sharp, defined look without the daily hassle or irritation, and even the cost of using a manual razor with foam and aftershave. Well, this is the classic example of market stagnation in the mature product category. The major brands have perfected the formula for a good enough trimmer, but because the market is so saturated, there is little financial incentive for them to innovate on the core functionality for the mass market models. It is therefore more profitable to maintain the status quo or even attempt to upsell the consumers to a slightly different or more expensive product. Well, this stagnation created a very problem I was facing, and it sent me into a deep dive for alternatives as well. So, my first stop was looking at the Philips Rotary shaver. Well, these are the devices which have three circular heads like a triangular shape, and they are designed for a proper skin level clean shave. Well, the problem is the pricing on this is completely different level. The entry models start at about 2500 and quickly climb to 5000, 8000, 15000 or even 20000 for premium models such as a Series 700 or 9000 models. For someone who just wants a very close trim and not necessarily a baby smooth face every single day, well, this feels like a complete overkill to me. Then I stumbled upon what seemed like the perfect solution. It was the Philips OneBlade. Well, it is marketed as a revolutionary device that can trim, edge and shave any length of the hair. It also promised a clean shave that I was looking for, but as I researched further, I discovered the hidden catch, that a business model that feels more or less like buying a product and more like signing up for a subscription. Well, the device itself is reasonably priced, but the magic is in the replacement blade. Well, Philips recommends you that you replace the blade head every 4 months for optimal performance. And how much do this blade cost? Well, a quick search revealed that a pack of 2 replacement blades for the Philips OneBlade costs about 1100 to 1500 rupees, and initially when you get a single one blade from Philips, that is about 1500 to 2000 rupees. So every single time for a single blade to be bought, you have to pay around 1900 rupees, and if you follow a recommendation of changing the blades, you are looking at an annual recurring cost of over 2500 rupees just for the blades. This business model creates what can be described as grooming-as-a-service thing. Many consumers are tired of products that lock them into a closed ecosystem of expensive or mandatory consumers. It is a psychological and financial burden that many, including myself, actually wanted to avoid it. I wanted to own a grooming tool and not rent one blade at a time. So, feeling frustrated, I kept digging, convinced there has to be a product out there for people like me. And that's when I finally found it. A trimmer from a challenger brand, Beardo, that made a very specific, very bold claim. This is the Apex Go Trimmer, and it promised to do what big brands wouldn't do, that is to deliver a shave as close as 0.25 mm without any replacement blade. This was the breakthrough I was looking for. So after weeks of research and discovering the Beardo Apex Go felt like finding a hidden gem. The key feature that immediately grabbed my attention was the promise of a trim length far below the industry standard. While some product pages list a trimming range of about 0.5 mm, The core marketing and performance of the similar Beardo products like the Apex Prime and this one especially boasts a trim length of less than 0.25 mm. Pointed to one thing, this device was built for a close shave. So for a price of just $8.99, I placed the order. Let us get this unboxed and see what you get inside for the money as well. Inside the box, the presentation is straightforward and practical. First up, of course, is the Beardo Apex Go Trimmer itself. Alongside, you get a full set of accessories that add a lot of value. There are 3 different combs attachment for those who want to maintain a beard at various lengths. You also get a small cleaning brush, which, as we will discuss later, is very essential to clean the blades. There is also a small bottle of blade oil, another crucial component for maintenance. And finally, you get a USB Type-C charging cable. The inclusion of Type-C cable is a huge plus. It is 2025 and nobody wants to be hunting for a proprietary barrel jack charger anymore. You can charge this with the same cable you use for your phone, which is especially very convenient and even while traveling. So you can also use power bank when this battery dies or after ages when the battery gives up. Now let us talk about the trimmer itself, that is the design. Well, the design and the build and the ergonomics. Picking up, the first thing you notice is the size that is comes, and it definitely lives up to the Go model, that is the pocket trimmer names. The design is ergonomic, it feels perfectly in the hand and makes it easy to maneuver as well. It doesn't feel like a cheap or flimsy product. It has a solid feel and a sleek black finish. One of the standout features at this price point is a digital display on the front. It clearly shows the remaining battery percentage, not battery percentage but a battery icon for low end charge as well. And the display is usually reserved for more expensive trimmer, but this is a small but incredibly useful detail that prevents you from starting shave only to have the battery die halfway through. Well, this entire package is a perfect example of Challenger's brand strategic value propagation. Well, Beardo clearly identified the single most important feature from its target niche, that is a sub 0.5 mm trim, and focus all the resources inside it. Well, they have also included a powerful motor and precision blades to deliver on their core promise. Well, they have also added high perceived value features like the digital display, Type-C charging to sweeten the deal, and also the aggressive price point about 899 rupees. They definitely made a calculated trade-off by omitting features like fully waterproof design or a detachable washable head to clean the blades. Well, this isn't about being a cheaper Philips. It's about creating a new subcategory of performance budget trimmers, that is redefining value, means by prioritizing cutting power over the conveniences. Well, let us leave into the performance. Well, putting the 0.5 mm claim to test, after the unboxing, it was time for the moment of truth in order to use it and see it for myself. Well, after the first shave, this was where the Beardo Apex Go Trimmer had to live up to is promise. I used it without any combs, directly on a couple of days worth of growth. And the result was, in a word, outstanding. It was exactly what I have been searching for a whole lot of time. The final result was so good, a smooth, incredible shave that felt fantastic. It wasn't the skin level smoothness of a wet razor, but it was miles ahead than the 1.1 mm stubble left by my old Philips, or even 0.5 mm. It gave that clean, sharp look and a genuine good feeling of a close and smooth shave, without the irritation, foam or mess of any traditional shaving. So this Apex Go uses self-sharpening T-blades. The T-blade design is significant. Well, this shape is favored by barbers as well for its ability to create sharp lines and also outline detail work over the side ones as well. This is what allows it to cut so close to the skin safely. This is why it not only provides an excellent close shave across the face, but is also brilliant for edging the sideburns or creating sharp lines in your hairstyle, just as my experience confirms. Well, in terms of battery life, the official specification is about 80-minute runtime on a full charge. In my real world usage over the past 2 months, this translates to about 2 to 4 shaves depending upon how long each of the session takes. This is more than enough for a week or two of use before needing a recharge via the convenient Type-C port. Now, for the sake of completely honest and transparent review, we are going to talk about the trade-off. Well, to achieve this level of performance at this price, there was one compromise, that is the maintenance routine. Unlike many Philips trimmers where you can simply detach this head and rinse it under the tap, well, this blade on the Beardo Apex Go is not removable or washable. So this means that manual cleaning is required over here. After each use, you have to take the included brush and thoroughly clean over any tiny hair clippings which are there between the teeth and the blade. And in order to keep the blades running smoothly and maintain their performance, you need to apply a few drops of oil which is included to the blade every few uses. For some, this might seem like an hassle, but in my view, it is a small price to pay. The entire cleaning process and oiling process takes less than 2 minutes, and it's a fair exchange for getting a trimmer that performs at a level far above its price tag without locking you into expensive parts or any kind of that thing. It's kind of practical trade-off a savvy user is willing to make for superior results and long-term saving. Well, the OneBlade gives you a close shave, but locks you into the ecosystem of expensive and recurring purchases. The Beardo Apex Go gives completely close result for a fraction of the initial price, and more importantly, a long-term cost of virtually zero. This is the difference between renting a shave from a corporation and truly owning a grooming tool. You pay once and you are done. Well, what is the final verdict and conclusion of this trimmer? So, after a month of extensive use and a deep dive into the competition, here is what I have to say about the Beardo Apex Go Trimmer. Well, let us summarize into the pros and cons. On the pro side, the list is impressive. First and foremost, it delivers an unbeaten close shave for the price, getting down to that 0.25 to 0.5 mm length that is so hard to find. It is excellent for creating sharp lines and also edging the hairstyle. The 5500 RPM motor is powerful yet efficient. The overall value is incredible with no recurring blade cost to worry about. And modern conveniences like Type-C charging and a digital battery display are icing on the cake. Whereas on the con side, there are only really 2 points to consider. The primary one is the maintenance, that is the non-washable head which requires a manual brushing and periodic oiling routine. The second question mark is the overall long-term durability. My Philips lasted 4 years, but only time will tell if Beardo can match that. But as I noted, for the price of ₹899, the performance that it delivers from day one makes it a risk worth taking for me as well. So who should buy the Beardo Apex Go? Well, this is the trimmer for you if you are tired of the 1 mm stubble that almost every budget trimmer leaves behind. This is for you if you want a look that's just shy of a clean shave, but you hate the irritation, the time commitment and the mess of using traditional razors and shaving foam. This is for you if you have seriously considered buying the Philips OneBlade but were immediately turned off by the prospect of spending thousands of rupees on proprietary replacement blades year after year. And finally, this is for you if you are a practical, value conscious person who understands that a 60-second cleaning routine is a tiny price to pay for saving a significant amount of money while getting a superior grooming result. Well, if you fall into any of those categories, I believe that this Beardo Apex Go is not just a good choice, but it is one of the best budget trimmers that you can buy in India for getting a close shave. It has fundamentally solved a problem that I suspect many of you have been facing for years. So that is my in-depth review for the Beardo Apex Go Trimmer. But I want to hear from you. What do you think? Have you found a better alternative from the Philips that's gives close? Or are you a OneBlade user who thinks that the cost of paying for replacement blade is worth it? Well, let me know your thoughts and experience in the comments below. I read and respond to all of them. If you found this review helpful, please like this video and also subscribe for more honest and in-depth reviews. Well, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.